Not so long ago, I pulled the engine out of this thing and went through it thoroughly, adding and replacing all kinds of seals. I'm fairly certain, as afraid as I am to say it out loud, the rug tells the story. I'm fairly certain I've got no oil leaks, which is amazing. Even before I pulled the engine out, I had this thing running so beautifully. And since I've put it back in, I've only got one little issue, which I'm putting very low on my list, which is the fast idle feature of these chokes is a little bit aggressive. And since it goes away once the engine's warmed up, I've got too many other things I need to worry about right now, so I'm just letting it ride. I'll deal with it later. The ignition system. I found and installed a new old stock set of points. Got a new condenser. My vacuum advance has been verified to work properly. My wires have been tested good. Every aspect of the ignition system is just fantastic. All except for that guy right there.
Okay, right here I'm going to take just a minute to explain something. There are basically two reasons why I'm making this particular video. The first is that I am trying to stay true to the idea that I record darn near everything I do to this car and share it with everyone. It's almost like a personal video log that I can use to go back and look and see everything I've done to the car. And I'm sharing it with all of you. And the second reason is basically just to brag on this viewer of mine who pointed out to me that my distributor cap was leaking sparks occasionally. Does anybody remember that whole Shia LaBeouf 4chan thing that happened a while back? Now, maybe this isn't quite on that level, but as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm just in awe of the fact that this guy saw this spark jumping out in my video, twice in fact, and not only told me about it, but shared the exact second of the video where it occurred so that I could go verify it for myself. Just awesome.
So, while I was on my spending spree, I decided it was time to deal with this. It's something that I had in my mind from the beginning to figure out whether it was good or not and do something about it. And after having it pointed out to me very clearly that it is not okay, I figured it was time. So this is a fairly easy deal we're going to do here. Just to make sure we don't do anything real stupid, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and swap over the wires one at a time. The only other thing I'd like to point out is that I do feel like it's a very good idea to go ahead and pull the boot back. Just make sure that you get this really firmly down into the cap before you then slide the boot back down over this part here. It wants to hang up when it's real close to all the way in, and you really got to give it that extra little bit to make sure it goes all the way in. That one just went in okay. Not too much extra effort. If you're not looking at it, you might think that it's all the way in when it's not. Now, the only other interesting thing about this operation here is that my clips really like to fall off the distributor body. There it goes. So if I can, I'll keep from losing them entirely. See, that one will hang on as long as I'm careful. And if you're really eagle-eye, like my viewer was that pointed out that the spark was jumping out of the cap, you might notice that these wires are not oriented properly. And that is because the distributor drive gear in my motor was set in place with an 009 distributor in mind, not a stock Type 3 distributor. So instead of buying the tool to pull it out and put it in properly, I just went ahead and rerouted the wires. One day I'll get into there and I'll pull the distributor drive gear out and I'll reorient it properly so that this can be correct. I just remember that one is where three goes and vice versa, and everything's fine. So that's that. We're just gonna get this guy back on, make sure I don't lose this clip. And this here is a somewhat goofy operation. And if it's important to make sure each one of these wires is firmly seated, it sure as the heck is important to make sure that the one coming from the coil is also firmly seated. But the boot on this wire is not quite as good as the boots on the other wires. I had a full matching set, but the coil wire was no good from this set, so I had to grab something else I had laying around. It does test good though. Now with the new distributor cap in place, there's only one thing left to do, and that's take a test drive. As always, the thing just starts right up. Usually it takes, I'm gonna say, well over a week of the car sitting for it to not just kick right over. And I think that's just normal stuff. We'll let her warm up here, get her out on the road, see if I can tell a difference. Tell me that does not sound wonderful. Well, I'm not seeing it, but I probably won't know until I go back and look at the video whether we've got a spark escaping the cap. I would be surprised if it was. Just running beautifully. I love it. Well, the car's running great, but it was running great before. Can I tell a difference? And my ego wants to say, oh yeah, I can tell the difference. Whatever, but no. Reality is I can't tell a difference. But I know that it was arcing out of that old cap. And almost certainly it's not now. Oh, I gotta fix that. God bless. And that's good enough for me. Just knowing that there was a problem that's not there anymore. That makes me happy. I got a few more things I need to do, and this car is going to be ready for the season, ready for some trips. I can't wait. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you found it interesting. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends, whatever. Thanks for tuning in.